The Broken Princess. The city was quiet. Not the peaceful kind of quiet. This silence was heavy, broken only by the sound of wind moving through empty towers. Once, this place was the heart of the Dragon Empire. Now it was only stone, ash, and memory. Princess Lyra walked alone. Her steps were slow. Each step felt heavier than the last. Her golden scales were dull and cracked. One wing dragged behind her, torn and burned. Her royal armor was broken, barely hanging to her body. She was hungry. Not normal hunger. This was the kind of hunger that made her vision blur and her hands shake. She had not eaten real food in many days. No fire meat, no crystal fruit, only dust and hope that tasted bitter. Lyra stopped near a fallen tower and leaned against the wall. She closed her eyes. Images rushed into her mind. Her mother, the Dragon Queen, standing tall and proud. Her guards forming a shield around her. The sky filled with dragon fire. Then the screams. The war had come fast. Too fast. Hunters from many worlds had attacked together. Their weapons were cold and sharp, made to kill dragons. Lyra had watched her people fall. She had run. A princess running from her own throne. Her claws dug into the stone as her stomach twisted again. "I can't go on," she whispered. Her voice was weak, not the voice of a ruler. The city behind her was dead. Ahead of her was unknown land. And somewhere out there, humans. Lyra hated humans. That was what she was taught. Humans were small, but dangerous. They feared dragons. They hunted dragons. Humans never showed mercy. Her legs trembled. She fell to her knees. Her breath came in short, painful gasps. The smell of smoke still filled the air, mixed with rust and dust. She tried to stand again. Failed. Her body hit the ground with a dull sound. The Princess of Dragons lay on broken stone like a forgotten thing. Her eyes burned with tears she refused to let fall. This is how it ends, she thought. Not in battle, not with honor, but alone, hungry, forgotten. The wind changed. Lyra smelled something new. Not smoke, not blood, something warm, something strange. Food. Her heart jumped. No, it couldn't be. She forced herself to lift her head. In the distance, beyond the broken city, small lights flickered. Metal walls. Simple structures. A human settlement. Fear rushed through her like ice. Humans. If they saw her, they would kill her. Or chain her. Or sell her to the highest bidder. Her claws dug into the ground. She tried to crawl away. Her body refused. The hunger was winning. The world felt blurry at the edges. She laughed weakly. A dragon princess, she thought, defeated by hunger. Her eyes grew heavy. She thought of her mother's voice. Survive, Lyra, even if you stand alone. Lyra gathered what little strength she had left. Slowly, painfully, she dragged herself toward the edge of the city. Every movement hurt. Her wings scraped the stone. Her breath burned her chest. Finally, she reached the shadow of a small metal building. Human-made. Her heart pounded. She pressed herself against the wall, trying to hide. Inside, she heard sounds. Soft sounds. A child laughing. Her eyes widened. A child? She had not expected that. Then another sound. A deep, calm voice. A human male. Footsteps moved closer. A door opened. Light spilled out. Lyra froze. Her muscles locked. She wanted to roar. To fight. To die with fire. But nothing came. The hunger stole her strength. She could only watch. The human stepped outside. He was tall, but not armored. No weapons in his hands. He held something round and black. A cooking pan. A smell rose into the air. Warm. Rich. Real. Lyra's stomach twisted painfully. Her vision swam. The human stopped when he saw her. His eyes widened. For a long moment, neither moved. Lyra waited for shouting. For alarms. For death. Instead, the human slowly lowered the pan. He did not raise a weapon. From behind him, a small human girl peeked out. She looked at Lyra with wide eyes. "Daddy," the child whispered. "She looks really hungry." Lyra's heart skipped. "Daddy?" The word felt strange. Her strength vanished. Her body finally gave up. She collapsed fully onto the ground. Her eyes closed. This is it, she thought. I trusted the wrong place. The last thing she felt was the cold stone under her cheek. The last thing she smelled was warm food. And then, darkness took her. The human who did not run. The human did not run. That alone was strange. Princess Lyra had seen many humans before, on battlefields, in cages behind weapons. They always screamed. They always attacked. Or they always fled. This one did none of those things. The human stood still, the metal pan hanging loosely in his hand. The warm smell from it filled the cold night air. Lyra lay on the ground, barely breathing. Her body screamed at her to move, to fight, to escape, but she could not. Hunger had eaten away her strength. Pain chained her wings. The human took one slow step forward. Lyra's claws twitched weakly. If you're going to kill me, she thought, do it quickly. But the man stopped. He looked at her, not like a hunter looks at prey, not like a soldier looks at an enemy. He looked at her the way someone looks at a wounded animal. Confused, careful, concerned. Behind him, the small human girl held onto his leg. Daddy, she whispered again, her voice soft. She's shaking. The word daddy echoed in Lyra's mind. It did not belong in this ruined world. The human glanced down at the child. Stay back, sweetheart, he said gently. His voice was calm, but Lyra noticed something else. Fear. Not fear of her. Fear for the child. That surprised her. Most humans used children as shields in war. This one put himself between the child and a dragon. Slowly, the man knelt. Lyra tried to lift her head. Her neck failed her. The ground felt cold. Her thoughts fell heavy. The human placed the pan on the ground. Inside was thick soup. Steam rose from it. Lyra's stomach twisted so hard she nearly cried out. Her body reacted before her mind could stop it. A weak sound escaped her throat. The human heard it. He froze. Then, carefully, he pushed the pan closer with his foot. I'm not going to hurt you, he said. Lyra did not understand every word, but she understood the tone. No threat, no anger, only caution. Her mind screamed at her. This is a trap. Humans lie. She had been taught that since she hatched. But hunger is louder than lessons. Her claw moved, just a little. The human did not react. Her claw touched the edge of the pan. Heat burned her skin slightly. Real food. Her eyes widened. This was not bait meat, not drugged flesh. This was normal. She dragged the pan closer. The human held his breath. The child watched with wide eyes, barely blinking. Lyra dipped one finger into the soup. It was warm. Her body shook. She tasted it. The world stopped. Flavor exploded in her mouth. Salt, heat, life. Her control shattered. She drank. Not like a princess. Not with pride. She drank like someone who thought she might never eat again. The soup spilled down her chin. Her hands trembled. Tears burned her eyes. She hated herself for them. The human turned his head slightly, giving her space. He did not smile. He did not speak. He waited. When the pan was empty, Lyra slumped forward. Her breathing slowed. Color returned faintly to her scales. The pain in her stomach faded just a little. She looked up at the human. For the first time, she truly saw him. His clothes were old and patched. His hands were rough. There were lines of exhaustion on his face. This was not a rich man, not a powerful man, just a father. What? Lyra whispered. Her voice surprised even her. The human blinked. You can talk, he said quietly. Yes, she replied. I'm still a dragon. He nodded slowly, as if accepting this was the most normal thing in the world. I'm Ethan, he said, and this is my home. Lyra laughed weakly. This place? She asked. It is nothing. Ethan looked around. I know, he said, but it's safe. For now. For now. Those words made Lyra's heart tighten. She felt it then, a cold pressure in the air. Her head snapped toward the ruins. Ethan noticed her change. What is it? He asked. Lyra's eyes narrowed. They are close, she said. Who? He asked. Her voice dropped to a whisper. Dragon hunters. Ethan's blood ran cold. Before he could ask another question, lights flashed in the distance. Metal footsteps echoed. Scanning beams cut through the darkness. Lyra tried to stand. Pain exploded through her body. She fell back with a sharp breath. Ethan made a decision. A fast one. Inside, he said. Lyra looked at him in shock. If they find you here, she said, they will kill you and your child. Ethan met her eyes. Then I guess, he said quietly, We don't let them find you. The lights grew closer. Heavy boots struck stone. The hunters had reached the edge of the settlement. Lyra stared at this human. This weak, stubborn, brave human. And for the first time since the war began, she felt something dangerous. Hope. When the hunters knocked, the lights stopped moving. That was worse than hearing them. Princess Lyra felt it in her bones. The hunters had paused. They were listening, smelling, scanning. Ethan pulled Lyra inside the metal shelter and shut the door quietly. The room was small. 1 table, 2 chairs, a small cooking unit, a child's bed in the corner. No place for a dragon princess. Lyra folded her wings tightly, biting back a cry of pain. Every movement burned. Ethan's daughter stood frozen, her small hand shaking. They can hear hearts, Lyra whispered. They will hear hers. Ethan swallowed. He knelt in front of his daughter and placed his hands on her shoulders. Hey, he said softly. Look at me. The girl's eyes filled with tears. Are they bad people? She asked. Ethan did not lie. Yes, he said, but they don't get you. Not tonight. He turned off the main light. The room fell into shadow. Outside, a deep mechanical voice echoed. Energy trace detected. Lyra's blood ran cold. That's me, she whispered. They're tracking royal dragon energy. Ethan's jaw tightened. How much time? He asked. Lyra listened. Boots scraping stone. Metal clicking. Weapons charging. Seconds, she said. The door shook. A heavy knock struck the metal wall. Human resident, a voice called. Open the door. Ethan did not move. Another knock. Stronger. Lyra forced herself upright. Hide the child, she said. I will distract them. Ethan looked at her in disbelief. You can't even stand, he said. Lyra smiled weakly. I'm still a dragon, she replied. Before Ethan could answer, the door rattled violently. Open, the voice ordered again. Now. Ethan stepped forward. He placed himself between the door and the room. No, he said. The knock stopped. Silence returned. Then, a blade cut through the metal door like paper. The door fell inward with a loud crash. 3 figures stepped inside. Tall, armored, cold. Their helmets glowed with red light. Dragon hunters. Lyra's heart pounded. The lead hunter scanned the room. Civilian, the hunter said. You are harboring restricted biological property. Ethan raised his hands. There's only me and my daughter here, he said. The hunter's visor flashed. Lie detected. Lyra felt rage spark in her chest. The hunter took a step forward. Step aside. Ethan didn't move. My child is behind me, he said. You don't take another step. The hunters paused. Lyra saw something flicker, confusion. Humans usually obeyed. This one didn't. The lead hunter tilted his head. You will die for this, he said calmly. Ethan nodded once. Then it won't be easy, he replied. Lyra stared at him. No armor. No weapon. Just a father. The hunters raised their rifles. Lyra knew what would happen next. She pushed herself forward. Pain ripped through her body like fire. She fell, but not before letting out a low, deep sound. A dragon's growl. The room vibrated. The hunters turned instantly. There, one of them said. Royal class confirmed. Their weapons shifted toward her. Ethan shouted. No, too late. A shot fired. Not at Lyra. At Ethan. The beam grazed his shoulder, burning flesh. He cried out, but did not fall. Lyra screamed. Something ancient answered. Her chest burned, not with hunger this time, but with fury. Her eyes blazed faint gold. The air grew heavy. The hunters hesitated. She's awakening, one said. She shouldn't be able to. Lyra forced herself to stand. Her legs shook. Her wings trembled. But she stood. This human fed me, she said, her voice echoing unnaturally. He protected child. Her claws dug into the floor. You will not touch them. The hunters laughed. You are weak, the lead hunter said. Starved. Broken. Lyra lifted her head. Maybe, she said, but I remember who I am. She opened her mouth. A small flame flickered. Not enough to kill, but enough to remind. The hunters stepped back. Alarms on their armor screamed. Energy spike detected. Ethan stared in shock. Lyra turned slightly, never taking her eyes off the hunters. Take my child, Ethan said hoarsely. Get her out. Lyra shook her head. No, she said. Not tonight. The flame grew brighter. Outside, more footsteps approached. More hunters. The lead hunter snarled. "Fall back," he ordered. We regroup. The hunters retreated quickly, dragging the broken door behind them. Silence crashed down. Lyra's flame died. Her strength vanished. She collapsed. Ethan caught her before she hit the ground. She was heavy, warm, alive. Outside, engines roared. The hunters were gone. For now. Lyra looked up at Ethan, her vision fading again. "They will return," she whispered. Ethan held her steady. Then, he said, teeth clenched, "We get ready." In the corner, the child watched them both. And for the first time, she smiled. The night without mercy. Lyra did not wake up. That scared Ethan more than the hunters. She lay on the floor, her chest rising slowly, her scales cold to the touch. The faint glow in her eyes was gone. She looked small now. Not like a princess. Not like a weapon. Just tired. Ethan wrapped a thick blanket around her wings. They were torn badly. Burn marks covered the edges. "She saved us," he whispered. His daughter nodded. "She was very brave," the girl said softly. Outside, the night was too quiet. That was wrong. Hunters never left without a reason. Ethan moved to the broken door and peered outside. The settlement lights were off. Other homes were dark. Too dark. He felt it then. They were not gone. They were waiting. Lyra's eyes suddenly snapped open. "Turn off your power source," she whispered urgently. Ethan froze. "What? Now?" she said. "They are triangulating heat and sound." Ethan rushed to the control panel and shut everything down. The shelter fell into darkness. Seconds later, a low hum filled the air. Not footsteps. Drones. Lyra pushed herself upright, pain twisting her face. "They're sealing the area," she said. "No one leaves." Ethan clenched his fists. "Why?" he asked. "You're weak. Why not take you then?" Lyra looked at him. "Because I'm not just a dragon," she said. "I am royal blood." Her voice dropped. "They want me alive." A sharp metallic screech cut through the air. The roof shook. Ethan's daughter gasped. Something landed above them. Heavy. Claws scraped metal. Lyra's heart pounded. "Tracker beast," she whispered. "They use them when technology fails." Ethan felt fear crawl up his spine. The roof began to bend. The creature above sniffed loudly. Lyra grabbed Ethan's arm. "Listen to me," she said. "They will break in. When they do, they will kill you both." "No," Ethan said instantly. "You must leave," Lyra continued. "There's an escape tunnel under this shelter. Old. Human-made." Ethan stared at her. "And you?" Lyra looked away. "I will distract them." The words hit Ethan like a blow. "You can't," he said. "You'll die." Lyra met his eyes. "I was already dying," she said quietly. "You changed that. Now, let me return the favor." The roof tore open. Metal screamed. A massive shape forced its way inside. Black armor. Red eyes. Metal claws. The tracker beast dropped into the room. Ethan's daughter screamed. The creature lunged. Lyra moved. Not fast. Not strong. But with purpose. She slammed herself between the beast and the child. The claws tore into her side. Blood splashed across the floor. She roared. Not in anger. In command. The room shook violently. The beast staggered. Ethan pulled his daughter back. "No," he shouted. "Lyra." She did not look back. "Go," she roared. "Now." The beast recovered and struck again. Lyra caught the claw with both hands. Her legs buckled. Her strength was fading. But she held. Ethan hesitated. Every instinct screamed to fight. But he looked at his daughter. Then at Lyra. Then he made the hardest choice of his life. He ran. The floor panel opened. He dropped into darkness with his child. Above them, the shelter exploded. Fire roared. Metal collapsed. The tunnel shook violently. Ethan covered his daughter's ears as debris fell. When the noise stopped, silence returned. Heavy. Final. Ethan climbed back up slowly, heart pounding. The shelter was gone. Only burning wreckage remained. "Lyra," he whispered. From the smoke, a shape moved. Slow. Broken. But standing. Lyra emerged from the flames. Her scales were cracked. Blood ran down her side. But her eyes, they burned bright gold. The tracker beast lay in pieces behind her. She collapsed to one knee. Ethan ran to her. You should have left, she said weakly. Ethan shook his head. I don't leave family, he said. Lyra looked at him. Family. The word hit harder than any weapon. In the distance, engines roared again. More hunters. More ships. Lyra struggled to stand. They are coming with everything now, she said. Ethan helped her up. Then, he said quietly, we stop running. Lyra stared at him. For the first time, she smiled. Not like a princess. Like a warrior who finally remembered her fire. The fire she could no longer hold. The sky burned red. Hunter ships circled above the ruined settlement like metal vultures. Their engines roared, shaking the ground. Lyra felt it in her chest. The fire was waking up. Not the wild flame of rage, but something deeper, something old. Ethan helped her walk through the broken debris. Each step left a dark trail of blood behind her. You can't fight them all, he said. Lyra laughed softly. I don't need to, she replied. I just need to remind them what dragons are. Above them, a ship lowered itself closer. Loudspeakers crackled. Royal Dragon Lyra, a cold voice announced. Surrender. Your human allies will be spared. Ethan stopped walking. No, he whispered. They're lying. Lyra knew it too. Hunters never spared witnesses. She stepped forward, pushing herself out of Ethan's support. Her legs shook, but she stood tall. I am here, she called out. Leave the humans. The voice laughed. You are in no position of bargain. Lyra looked at the sky. Once she would have bowed. Once she would have obeyed. But that Lyra died in the ruins of her city. The new Lyra had tasted human kindness, and it burned brighter than fear. She closed her eyes. The hunger was gone now. In its place, heat. Power surged through her veins, painful and sharp. Her wounds glowed faintly gold. Cracked scales began to seal. Not heal fully, but enough. Ethan stepped back in shock. Lyra, he whispered. She opened her eyes. They shone like molten suns. The ground trembled. The hunters panicked. Energy spike detected. Lyra raised her head. This fire, she said calmly, is not for conquest. Her wings slowly unfolded. They were still damaged, but glowing. It is for protection. She inhaled deeply. The air around her ignited. A thin line of fire shot into the sky. Not aimed at ships, but straight up. A signal. Every hunter system screamed alarms. This is impossible, one shouted. Lyra roared. Not loud, not wild, controlled. The roar carried across the land, rolling like thunder. Ethan felt it in his bones. So did every dragon, hiding across the stars. Above them, one hunter's ship lost control. Its systems failed. It crashed into the ground in flames. The others pulled back in fear. Lyra swayed. The power drained her quickly. Ethan ran to catch her. You did enough, he said. No, she whispered. I did not do enough yet. From the smoke, soldiers poured out. Ground troops. Dozens. Weapons ready. Lyra stood again. Her body screamed in protest. You should rest, Ethan said urgently. She shook her head. If I fall now, she said, they will kill you all. Ethan's daughter stepped forward suddenly. She placed her small hand on Lyra's claw. Please don't die, the child said. The words cut deeper than any blade. Lyra knelt slowly. She lowered her head to the child's level. I will try, she promised. The soldiers advanced. Lyra rose. Her fire flared again. Weaker this time, but sharper. She did something unexpected. She stepped in front of Ethan, in front of the child. A shield, a dragon shield. The soldiers hesitated. They had never seen this. A dragon defending humans. Lyra spread her wings fully. I was born a princess, she said. I was raised a weapon. Her voice echoed unnaturally. But today, I choose. She slammed her claws into the ground. A ring of fire erupted outward. Not lethal, but unstoppable. The soldiers were thrown back. Weapons melted. Armor cracked. They retreated in panic. Above, the ships pulled away fast. Emergency jumps. They fled. Silence fell again. The fire faded. Lyra collapsed. Ethan caught her. She was breathing. Barely, but alive. Ethan held her close. You did it, he whispered. Lyra smiled faintly. No, she said. We did. In the distance, emergency signals flashed. Other humans were coming. Rescue. Witnesses. The galaxy would hear about this. A dragon princess. Who chose humans? Over power. Lyra closed her eyes. But this time, she did not fall into darkness. She felt warmth, safety, family, and somewhere deep inside her, the fire rested, waiting. When the galaxy started watching, Lyra woke to silence. Not the quiet of fear, not the quiet of ruins. This silence was careful. She lay on a soft surface. Warm light glowed above her. For a moment, she thought she was dead. Then she smelled food, human food. Her eyes opened slowly. She was inside a large medical shelter. Human-made, but reinforced. Emergency lights blinked along the walls. Her wings were wrapped in clean bandages. Her wounds burned, but they were healing. She was alive. Ethan sat nearby, asleep in a chair, his head resting against the wall. His arm was bandaged. He looked exhausted. Lyra felt something twist in her chest. She had protected humans before, during war. But this was different. This time, she had stayed. A soft beep sounded. Ethan woke instantly. He saw her eyes open and froze. "You're awake," he said quietly, like he was afraid to scare her away. "Yes," Lyra replied. For now, relief washed over his face. "You scared us," he said. "Us." The word mattered. Before she could answer, alarms suddenly blared. Not loud, controlled. A soldier stepped into the shelter. "Contact confirmed," the soldier said. "Multiple transmissions. Off-world." Lyra felt it immediately. The galaxy had noticed. Screens activated along the walls. Images flashed. News feeds. Military channels. Emergency councils. One clip replayed again and again. A dragon standing in front of humans. Fire forming a shield. Hunter ships retreating. Lyra stared at it. "That is what they saw," she whispered. Ethan nodded grimly. "That's what everyone saw." The soldier swallowed. "Not just humans," he said. "Other species are watching too." Lyra's blood ran cold. Dragons hiding across space would see this. Hunters would see weakness. Empires would see opportunity. A woman in a command uniform appeared on the main screen. "Royal Dragon Lyra," she said carefully. "This is a formal request for communication." Lyra stood slowly. Pain stabbed her side, but she ignored it. Ethan moved to help her. She shook her head. "I must stand," she said. "If I sit, they will think I am broken." She faced the screen. "Speak," Lyra said. The woman hesitated. "By defending humans," she said, "you have violated multiple interstellar treaties." Lyra expected anger. What she did not expect. "But you also prevented a civilian massacre." The room went silent. The woman continued. "The Hunter Guild has issued a kill order on you." Ethan's fists clenched. "And," the woman added, "3 systems have offered you asylum." Lyra laughed softly. "So now I am valuable," she said. "When before I was prey." The woman did not deny it. "There is more," she said. "The hunters did not act alone." Lyra stiffened. "They never do," she said. The screen changed. A symbol appeared. Ancient. Sharp. Lyra's breath caught. "That mark," she whispered. "It belongs to the Council of Balance." Ethan frowned. "Who are they?" Lyra's voice was low. "The ones who decide which species is allowed to survive," she said. The room felt suddenly smaller. The woman on screen nodded. "They approved the Dragon Purge," she said. "And now they are debating humanity." Ethan's heart dropped. "Because of us?" he asked. Lyra turned to him. "Because of me choosing you," she said. Outside, engines roared again. Different ships this time. Human defense fleets. But also others. Unknown shapes. Unknown flags. The galaxy was gathering. Lyra felt the fire stir inside her again. Not violently. Responsibly. She looked at Ethan. At his child, watching from the doorway. "They will come for you," Lyra said. "For your world." Ethan met her gaze. "Then we don't hide," he said. "We stand." Lyra studied him. A simple human. No crown. No army. Yet unbreakable. She straightened fully. Her wings shifted behind her. "Then hear this," Lyra said, her voice steady and clear. "To the Council. To the Hunters. To the galaxy." She faced the screen. "I am Lyra of the Dragon Blood," she said. "I do not kneel to slaughter." Her eyes burned gold. If you wish to judge humanity, she continued, you will face me first. The room trembled slightly. Somewhere far away, ancient powers stirred. The woman on screen swallowed. This will start a war, she warned. Lyra nodded. Then let it begin with truth, she said. She turned to Ethan. You fed a starving dragon, she said softly. The galaxy will never forget that. Outside, stars shifted. Fleets aligned. History bent. And, for the first time in a very long time, humans were not alone. The meal that changed the stars. The galaxy held its breath. Fleets filled the dark space above Earth's outer colonies. Human ships stood in tight formation, outnumbered but unbroken. Beyond them waited others. Observers, judges, predators. At the center of it all hovered a single dragon-shaped vessel. Inside stood Lyra. She was no longer shaking. Her wings were healed enough to spread wide, glowing faint gold. Scars marked her scales, but she wore them with pride. These were not signs of weakness. They were proof of survival. Ethan watched from the command deck, his daughter holding his hand. I don't like this, the child whispered. Ethan squeezed her fingers. Neither do I, he said. But sometimes being brave feels like this. A deep voice filled the chamber. Royal Dragon Lyra, it said, you stand accused of destabilizing balance. A massive hologram appeared. The Council of Balance. Ancient beings. Cold eyes. Perfect order. Lyra stepped forward alone. You call slaughter balance, she said calmly. I call it fear. The council did not react. Dragons were deemed too powerful, the voice replied. They inspired rebellion. Lyra's eyes narrowed. No, she said. We inspired hope. The council shifted. Ethan felt the tension rise like pressure before a storm. You allied with humans, the council continued. A species known for war. Lyra turned slightly. She looked at Ethan, then at the child. She remembered the soup, the warmth, the choice. You judge humans by their weapons, Lyra said, but you never judge them by their kindness. The council laughed softly. Kindness is irrelevant. Lyra's voice hardened. Then let me show you how wrong you are. She raised one claw. The room darkened. A single memory projected into space. A small metal shelter. A broken dragon princess. A tired human cooking a meal. No armies. No power. Just food offered freely. The council fell silent. Lyra spoke. I was starving, she said. I had no power. No army. No fire. Her gaze burned. And still he fed me. Ethan's breath caught. The child's eyes widened as she saw herself on the projection. The council hesitated. That changes nothing, one voice said. Lyra smiled. It was not gentle. Then this will, she said. She stepped forward and bowed, not to the council, to Ethan, to a human. Gasps echoed across open channels. A dragon princess bowing to a human was unthinkable. You fed an enemy, Lyra said clearly. You protected a child, not your own. You stood when fear told you to kneel. She turned back to the galaxy. This, she declared, is why humanity deserves to live. The council argued in rapid tones. Systems across the galaxy watched. Species that had never cared before were watching now. The council finally spoke. The balance must adapt. A single word appeared on the screen. Verdict revised. Dragon purge terminated. Humanity under protection. The hunters' contracts dissolved instantly. Their fleets retreated. Across space, dragons in hiding lifted their heads. The fire had changed. Ethan felt his knees weaken. His daughter laughed. She's okay now, she said. Lyra exhaled slowly. The weight of extinction lifted from her wings. She turned back to Ethan. I owe you my life, she said. Ethan shook his head. I just cooked a meal, he replied. Lyra smiled warmly. Sometimes, she said, that is how legends begin. Months later, a new symbol flew above human space. A dragon and a flame, intertwined. Lyra became an ambassador. Not of fear, of protection. Humans were no longer prey. They were allies. And in a quiet home on a distant colony, Lyra sat at a table. Ethan cooked. The child set plates carefully. Lyra tasted the food and laughed. Still simple. Still warm. Still perfect. The galaxy would remember wars, but history would whisper something softer. That once, a single dad cooked a meal, and the stars changed forever.